ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಅನಿಲ್ ಅವರೇ. ಆ, ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಗುರುಕುಲ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಒಂದು ಚರ್ಚೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಒಂಥರ ಪ್ಯಾನಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಥರ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಇದು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷು ಮತ್ತು ಕನ್ನಡ ಎರಡೂ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಗುರುಕುಲದ ಸಾಧಕ ಬಾಧಕಗಳಾಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಗುರುಕುಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದರೂ ನಮಗೆ ಅದರ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಂಡು ಈ ಗುರುಕುಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕೋ ಬೇಡವೋ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನಾವೊಂದು ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಈ ಚರ್ಚೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಬೇಕಿರೋದಂದರೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ಉದ್ಭವ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಗುರುಕುಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಉದ್ಭವ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ವೇದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮೂಲಕ ಅದನ್ನು ಪರಿಹರಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ.
ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಮಾಧವ್ ಅವ್ರೆ, ಒಂದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಗುರುಕುಲ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ differ from the conventional schooling?
Gurukula Sikshana. So the Gurukula Sikshana is the study system which is very traditional, and this is where the education system started, in fact. And India was a country which was pioneer in terms of floating some concept of a system where education is a priority. Correct. So today the same motivation or same vision is been borrowed by the conventional education systems. We are saying it as a conventional system because conventional schooling, because it is now popular and it is overgrown, like it is covering everyone. In traditional Gurukul system, in Gurukul education, students usually live with their teachers, and thus they build very strong relationship between student and mentor. Here the teacher not only just act as a teacher to cover some language or some topics, he also becomes a mentor, either direct or indirect mentor. And Basically, it differs from conventional schooling system in personalized and holistic approach. Means they have very disciplined approach through which anyone enters into Gurukul will emerge out as a someone who has studied and who has applied in his knowledge and applied his thoughts in his real life. That is how it differs. Second is they are personalized. For example, they don't teach everything to everyone in a common class. They know what are the capacity, what are the skills needed for different type of people, and how they come from different background, and based on that they give the education, so that finally everybody, when they come out of the Gurukul, have skills through which they can survive and then live and then lead a successful and peaceful life. So that's how Gurukul differs from the conventional schooling.
You mean to say more of individual focus will be given in a Gurukul environment?
Correct.
And how can Gurukul foster a deeper connection between students and teachers?
Okay.
Like how the relations between the students and the teachers?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very important question, and that is the foundation of Gurukul actually. So, in Gurukul, as you asked in a previous question, right? The number of students in Gurukul are restricted. Like it is not a large mass where we fill the classrooms and then say, hey, this is class A, class B, class C, and then we teach them subjects. In Gurukul, basically, they have number of students and a teacher according to that. So it and the number of students and teacher ratio also differs based on how students are, like what quality students you get also, right? It's not that for 20 students you have one teacher fixed. If those students are very slow learners, then you may increase number of teachers or reduce number of students per teacher. That flexibility exists. And the bigger difference here is, here teacher tries to make a very deep connection with the students. They not only understand how academically they can excel, but they will also look from the personality perspective, where they weak, what particular values they are missing, and what particular personality they are lacking, and they build up those things either by constantly guiding them in a different ways, and also covering something from the academics, And last but not least, they mentor them personally, and they self motivate them. Like basically, a gurukul, a teacher behaves in a certain way with a very hard student who is always making arguments, or who doesn't listen to someone, or who gets angry every time. So teacher does different behavior with them, different approaches with them. So it is like an indirect mentorship they give, through which the students foster very deeper connection with their teachers, and thus they start loving the teacher. They start liking what they are teaching. It's not because they are studying and there is a teacher they have to study, but rather they understand what is the motivation behind teaching, what exactly my guru want me to do in life, and they acquire those knowledge. And once you are self motivated, getting the knowledge becomes much more smoother than it is somewhere decided that okay, you have to learn these n number of things in n number of days. That's how it
So
makes good relationship.
you mean to say like here a teacher can give more time for an individual where his nature, his skills are different, his capabilities are different, his interests are different, so that he can nurture those things, from an individual perspective.
Exactly,
So that,
exactly.
yeah, the distractions also will be less in the Gurukul environment.
Right. And not only that, Guru
The
try
home.
to, yeah, even Guru try to know the background or family background through which students are coming, right? Say someone coming
Yeah.
from poverty line, his aspirations will be to become rich, or his focus may be only on the financial aspects. But Guru knows how to tackle with such situations and how to motivate them on learning, getting good knowledge, and being a good citizen than just earning or being focused on money. So this is the very fundamental thing, is very different from the conventional education system, where teachers sometimes doesn't even know who is sitting on the corner and what background he comes from, what is his aspiration. Nothing.
In conventional schooling.
Yes.
Exactly. And what are the potential benefits of a Gurukul style education in the modern world, from the modern world perspective?
Okay.
Like what I see is, there are skills are required, on the skills required time to time, it will change actually, which are life skills, like life skills which actually give some, income to the individual. So in the modern world, that's all, changing time to time. So how the Gurukul style education system can, support like this one.
Okay, yeah, sure. I specifically love this question very much, because um, we have been thinking Gurukul means something of the past, correct? But your question is hitting on something in a modern world, the world that we see today, and the world that our next generation will see, and their next generation will see, right? So Gurukul, your question is not about something happened in the past, something happening in the world. So if we look at the world, right, it is very rapidly changing. The way how we used to operate, our parents used to operate when we were young, and now what we do, and what our kids are doing already in say first standard, second or fifth standards, right? It's very rapidly changing. And at the same time, the changes are also impacting on their creativity and their critical thinking, self motivation. Today, if you go anywhere, the topics are like motivational talks are more, or you see mentoring is more, or you see something where paid peace of mind is more selling in today's world. But Gurukula system comes with all these things as one package, where you don't need to go for different things at a different stages of life. And another very important point is, it's like our health. If I will wait till I fall ill and then I will take a medicine, that is one way of approach. Second way of approach is, I will take care of my health on a very constant basis so that I don't fall much ill where I have to be taking medicines, right? So Gurukula promotes critical thinking, creativity, self motivation, leadership skills, and handling various tough situations, and also how they can own certain things and do on their own without much of push or much of help. So this makes them more stable, more mentally peaceful, and it runs for a longer period of time. Whatever skills you give, right, it runs for a longer period of time. When we put our skills under the quotation of earning, right, the skill will die very fast. But when the skill is
These skills are very much required in the real time, real world where these apart from the skills, these personal attributes are very much required, relevant.
very very relevant, very relevant, yeah. Today if you see, even our the approach of the kids or new generation is right. New generation doesn't try to learn anything from their parents. Means basically they don't find what to learn from my father, what to learn from my son, my mother, what to learn from my elder brother. So there, that kind of thinking, that self motivation has died. So with that, they even don't talk to anybody. If you bring someone very expert to your home, they don't have any motivation to talk to them. Why? Because they don't want to learn anything outside fixed mindset of making money or making school ranking or winning some prize in competitive education, right? Apart from that, they don't have any motivation. So but Gurukula will give you something which makes you learn from everyone, learn from even creatures that God has created, and learn even from the nature or earth. So that's the beauty of Gurukul.
And they will get more time to experiment themselves
Yeah.
with a different friends in the Gurukula. They get more time to talk to them. They play with them, and in the same time they experiment themselves, and they can able to introspect themselves, what they are up to, what their skills, what they are good at, what they are bad at. Okay, all these things also they can experiment, and they can understand better in a Google environment. And definitely this time, the play, the more time they spend in with the different set of friends, that they will not get in the conventional setup, in the family setup or in the schooling, because they will spend, they end up in they end up in their time in the transportation, in other homeworks, all other stuffs, rather than really they don't this doesn't add anything to their personal growth. But in a case of Google system, they can experiment all these things, and they can nurture themselves in a better way.
Exactly, exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Next question is, how does Gurukula education nurture cultural and moral values?
Okay. Um, so basically, the moral values come from different approaches. From the psychology point of view, if you see, right, the moral values come from the values that kids pick up from anybody whom they see in front of them. So if often kids see someone running with a competition, someone running for money, someone making assets, or someone making investment on liabilities like television, mobile, car, all these things, right? They acquire those values and try to install and then grow those values in their life, right? So, but in Gurukul system, since they are all isolated with all these unwanted stuffs, their moral values are focused on what is the best in another person and what is the best in their gurus. And also, they are not only just taught about the subject through which they earn marks or graduate, they are also taught lot of stories, lot of rituals and daily the cultural values they get, right, through which they learn lot of moral values and cultural values, and they make them very very fit with those things.
Okay. There's a one concern actually, that
Mhm.
the students from Google system uh, will be getting isolated from the mainstream society. Means
Mhm.
they may be odd men out. If
Mhm.
the urban life, urban city life is more, in a different way, it's more faster, it's adopting technologies, adopting different um, gadgets into their life.
Mhm.
facilities. So the these one faster life, they may be, there is a name, they may not get in the Google system, and once they get into the mainstream society, they may be odd men out. So
Right,
how the Google can address these things
right, yeah,
concerns.
yeah. Gurukula is not only just inside out. Gurukula also has something outside in. For example, if you take any conventional education system, right? It's only inside out. What they teach, sometimes even parents don't know. All we know by their score or marks or some progress card that teacher will give, or in parents and teacher meeting, they will tell something which you have to believe and then move forward. But Gurukula system is such an open system which always has open its mind to acquire outside values or outside knowledge inside, right? So bringing technology is not a big deal today. So Gurukulas are already doing, many Gurukulas have integrated technology through which they are offering courses or educating them. Not only that, they allow lot of guest speakers. They conduct certain events in which people get to see very different field people coming over there showing their success and how did they achieve things in their life and what principles they followed along with their success. These make very very big difference which is not possible at all in conventional education system. uh, in a way the concerns are correct. Everybody feels that okay, what happens if they are isolated, what if they don't even come and talk to people, they don't be able to adjust with other people. But that is not a big deal. Human beings always are adjustable, always they will go with the change, right? They absorb change very fast.
So
And
the overall things what Google addresses is internal growth or personal growth.
personal growth,
Actually,
yes, yes,
means, yeah, that where exactly the individual can grow himself and manage the life himself, because and he can adopt easily the newer lifestyle.
yeah,
Definitely, the city
exactly,
lifestyle he can easily manage it if he comes to it. But
right,
along with that, he's also getting a skill of managing himself. If any untoward things are happening, then how he has to face it, and all these things, he has a good strength inside itself from the
exactly,
the
yeah,
student who is coming from the Gurukula
exactly, yeah,
system.
yeah, that's the point. But as a concern, it's a concern, people being concerned about certain things by looking more deeply into that and then being concerned, but these concerns are not a big concerns at all.
Okay, so the next question is, uh, what are some potential drawbacks or challenges associated with the Gurukula education?
The challenges basically it is a small scale. Like as you focused on number of kids coming there and teacher and then student ratio and then individual focus on the kids and providing them very cultural values and everything. Right? It's an inclusive package, and this inclusive package can be given only to small chunk of students. But while if you see conventional education system, anybody can open a school and they can put like 20 seats in a class and then they can have ABCD and then accommodate as many students as possible based on the fees and permissions given by the government. But Gurukula at this point of time, it's a challenge at this point of time only. It's not a big drawback. But today we have very hand countable Gurukulas, and obviously they have been facing a challenge of getting a very great volunteer mindset educationers or teachers or the funds that they need to run it in a very large scale or in a successful manner. So it is still going on. But apart from this scale drawback, there is nothing else. Once these gurukulas are like well funded or they are been opened up, even let it be very small, but if they are in many numbers, they will be able to address all the challenges of the society. They'll be able to give very good education.
Yeah, yeah. Usually, one bigger concern I think we missed that parental. Exactly, from the mother perspective,
Mhm.
really that will be a separation, long term separation from the home. Mother usually doesn't allow, doesn't want to do it. That's a main concern actually. the kids are, the parents are not, sending to the Gurukula. How why, what is this concern, why this concern, and how, how we can address it?
Yeah. So concern is firstly the every concern that we have today are not self introspected concerns. Any concern you take, for example, I am financially backward, if this is a concern, but it is not self introspected. Do I think in isolation that I'm really backward in finance? Am I not able to meet my 2 days, two times meals in a day? Am I not able to have a good clothes for myself? Do I look very ugly or very poor in front of others? So if we introspect ourselves, the concern will go away. We feel that, yeah, I'm happier than anybody else. But the concern is on the peer pressure today. So a lot of parents feel, because they have seen as a role model everywhere, even in their peers, that babysitting is a habit. Even a kid who is going for say 12th standard, mother will be like feeding him with a spoon and all. So they feel that they are caring more in this situation than where they are letting kids be in the Gurukul, right? And Gurukul doesn't mean that you don't visit Gurukul at all. You don't care your kid. You still be able to care, and they have more affection towards parents than being at home. Being at home with your kids is more vulnerable. You show up your all positive strengths and your weaknesses equally. They can absorb everything, and you become more vulnerable in front of them than you being away. And it's a short period of time. Like past, we don't have any 15 years or 20 years Gurukul system, right? It's again another system where you educate them for say till 7th standard or 4th standard, 5th standard, or whatever, so that they get very good education, they get very fundamentals right, and their cultural values they bring in, and then they grow up in whatever way you want to grow, right? The concern basically are more coming from mother side than father side. Mother feels that our kids will be left out in the stream, they may not get good job, they may not survive in this competitive market. None of them are true. people
Yeah,
who
even
people who do yeah, people who do fasting assume that there are two kids, one kid does fasting, another kid doesn't do fasting. If you put in a very different situation or in different location, the the pain kid go through who doesn't do fasting will be more than the kid who does fasting. If he doesn't get food, he just do fasting and then keep quiet without any issues. But the kid who is addicted to food multiple times in a day with a particular taste or with a particular choices will suffer more than other kid. So it's a very bad concern that we have today. Yeah.
yeah, the thing is, the mothers have also have these concerns, like, uh, they the Gurukula system may not, give the same latest infrastructure, like, smart board or something, or computer education and all. But what I think is today's Gurukula system are, enough, have a good infrastructure, all these things, and they can provide all these, latest technologies, and along with the Baijus and all, the private sector content developers also there, who develop very good things. Only using those tools itself, the Gurukula can, provide a very latest education system also. The way the conventional today's education system is giving, only that, if you see today's, the education system with all these tools, digital tools, gadgets and all, only the students need more of a guidance.
Hmm.
That guidance, if provider is, much matured and experienced guy is there, that's sufficient.
Yeah, sufficient.
That's a sufficient, to, to, satisfy the concerns of, the mothers only have that, because they don't want, their kids to be odd men out.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. But they'll not be odd
So
man out. They are more composed. They are built culturally well, healthy wise. They are very good. They can sustain in any climate, any situation, and any difficult situations. plus they have good knowledge and they also know how to deal with different type of situations and people and then personalities very well than the kid that is in conventional school.
Exactly, because this self motivation and is very much required, because today we are seeing with from the conventional education system, many students are getting into the depressions, suicides. Even they are well placed in a good job. Also, they are too much. They compare with the other people and they go into the depressions, and they couldn't able to face the uncertainty stuffs. So, but that will not be there in the Gurukula system.
Right,
So
yeah.
people who are students coming from Gurukula system, they definitely have a very good inner strength to
Right,
face all these
right.
things.
If you,
Yeah,
we want to draw some parallel with our health situation, right, the kid who has more immunity versus the kid who is very well vaccinated according to the guidelines, right, the kid who has more immunity will survive better and is less vulnerable to any climatical changes or any virus attacks than one who is vaccinated. For vaccinated kid, you have to keep on vaccinating for every new thing. But for the
exactly.
kid who has very good immunity, you don't need to do much. So it's something
Yeah,
like that.
same thing applicable for the psychological, education for
Yeah,
the
exactly.
student also. Yeah,
Exactly. Yes,
exactly.
yes, yes.
That the question is relating to the yeah, this is a very good definitely Gurukula system is better way, but how we can support all these Gurukula educational institutions in India
Hmm.
specifically.
Hmm.
How what may be the steps you think of it?
Okay.